Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're looking for effective science-based ways to train your dog without force or intimidation, you're in the right place. Today, I'm sharing 3 powerful force-free training tips that will help you get real results while strengthening your bond with your dog. Trust me, this is all gonna come together like an aha moment. Now, what exactly is force-free training? You may have heard about force-free training. You may not have heard about force-free training, or you just like, Pam, what is it? Just tell us, right? Essentially, it's an approach that focuses on teaching your dog what to do without fear, intimidation, or punishment. Instead of using harsh corrections, we use positive reinforcement, which simply means we're going to reward behaviors you want to see more of. No prong collars, no shot collars, no outdated dominance-based techniques, just clear communication, consistency, and training approach backed by science. And from my experience working with families in their home, I really do tailor your dog's needs and your family's needs to what's going on and what works for you and your dog. And the best part is force-free training works for every dog regardless of their age and breed. And that's what I was talking about. I once worked with a dog and well, not, of course I work with a dog, but once I worked with a family and a dog was jumping on guests and his owner kept on telling him, no, all the time. And that's what she was telling me her technique was. And I was like, but guess what? He's going to keep on doing it because even that's attention, believe it or not. That's reinforced and that's a reward for your dog. And so what you want to do is make a little switch there and wait till your dog sits and ignore them and then give them the praise or reward. And your dog learns that, hey, when I sit, great things happen. And now you're the reward. Great things. Get it? We'll go get more into that. That's the power of force-free training. Is not just about stopping bad behaviors. It's about teaching your dog what you want them to do instead. That's what that scenario is all about. So let's dive into the first tip. Tip number 1, reinforce what you want, not what you don't. One of the biggest mistakes people make is doing dog training. One of the biggest mistakes people make in dog training is focusing too much on what their dog is doing wrong instead of constantly saying, one of the biggest mistakes people make in dog training is focusing too much on what their dog is doing wrong instead of constantly saying no or correcting bad behaviors. You want to focus on reinforcing good ones. Like I said, dogs learn by association. If your dog sits calmly while you're working, you want to reward them for that. If they check in while you're on walks, you want to acknowledge that. You just don't want to say, oh, my dog's being good today, let's just go. The more you reward them for that, acknowledge that, they'll do more of that behavior. Dogs repeat behaviors that get rewarded, so make sure you're catching the good stuff. A mistake many people make is waiting too long to reward good behavior. Dogs live in the moment, so we want to reward them in the moment immediately within seconds or two. Connect the behavior with the treat. The more consistent you are rewarding good behavior, the less you'll need to correct unwanted behavior over time. So just make sure that you're not fumbling around for treats. You have them readily available, and then you can treat them right away. If you don't have a treat on you, just make a big deal of it, like, hey, you did it or whatever, and that will suffice in the moment. Tip number 2, you want to make sure that you're setting your dog up for success. Dogs aren't born knowing our rules. So dogs aren't born knowing our rules. If your dog is getting into things they shouldn't, you have to ask yourself, have I set them up for success? Ask yourself, have you think about the one thing your dog's doing now. Have you set them up for success? For example, if you don't want your dog to jump on guests, you don't wait for them to fail. Instead, you want to give them alternative behaviors to do, like sit in politely or attention, just like we talked about a little bit ago. So force-free training is all about management and prevention, getting ahead of things, being proactive. If your dog keeps chewing on shoes, you don't wait to punish them or say no. You want to put those shoes away and give them something appropriate that you want instead. If they keep jumping on the couch, set up a comfy spot or dog bed for them and keep rewarding them for using it in that way. Remember, the more you reward a behavior, the more they will do that behavior you want of them. Another common mistake is expecting dogs to just get it, right? I have been guilty of that myself, so I understand. Training takes repetition. If you don't set them up for success, they'll struggle to learn. So think about it as child-proofing your home. A toddler, you're not going to leave sharp objects out and expect for them just to know better. Dogs need the same type of guidance, and the more you can put yourself in the shoes of my dog's like a toddler, a kid, you just can't leave them alone or things like that, you'll start to understand and navigate situations better. Number 3, please be patient and consistent. Here's the truth, right? Dogs are not going to learn overnight. Training takes time, repetition, patience, consistency. If you reward leash manners on a Monday, but let it slide on a Tuesday, your dog's just gonna get confused. Consistency is gonna be key. Slack off for a day is not gonna be the worst thing, but you just wanna get back on track. And that's why everyone's household as well needs to be on the same page so that your dog gets clear, consistent communication. I know a lot of times with families, kids are doing something different than a mom, or your mom may be doing the bulk of the work. So I just want to make sure that everyone, for the most part, is on the same page. And here's something really important. If your dog isn't getting it, they're not being stubborn. I don't know how many times I heard that dogs do what works, and if they're not getting it, they're probably just confused, distracted, or need more practice in an easy environment first. If your dog is struggling with the behavior at the park, practice at home first with fewer distractions before expecting them to perform in a busy setting. You want to make sure they have it down packed there. Again, stay consistent, be patient, keep sessions short and fun, and be sure you're celebrating those small wins. We often forget about that because we're so busy in our own lives that I'm just so thankful that our dog's being quote unquote good. I'm going to answer, before we wrap up, I want to answer a question that I get all the time, never fails, right? Here it is. What if my dog only listens when I have treats? It's a good question, though. It's really a good question. The goal isn't to bribe your dog forever. Over time, what we do is gradually reduce the treats while remaining rewards like praise, play, and as trainers, we call real life rewards like access to the couch or a walk. So start to fade that out over time. Think of it like getting paid at work. At first, dogs need frequent rewards to understand what's expected, but as they get better, we fade the food and use other motivators instead. Yes, you might get your base salary, but over time, you're gonna need other things. I know those pizza parties are popular, but maybe something better, right? And so that's essentially what we do for the figure out over time what's gonna be the reward that's going to maintain this behavior that's not treats all the time. And that's something that I work with families to push down and figure out what works for their dogs with the treats or just life rewards. There you have it. 3 simple but powerful tips for force-free dog training. If you found this helpful, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe for more training tips. Drop a comment below. I would love to hear what's your one biggest dog training challenge. I would love to help. I'm always here to help. And if you're looking for more hands-on guidance, check out my website for upcoming workshops, private training options. Thank you for watching. Happy training, and I'll see you next week with another great topic. Bye.